Hi, my dear student friends. I welcome you all for interactive session of exclusively NEET program by Mr. Ross. So in our previous class, as a part of the human physiology, we started studying about the human digestive system. In the human digestive system, we studied the two important parts of the digestive system, which includes the alimentary canal, while the second one is known as the digestive glands or associated glands. In the earlier class, I explained in detail all the parts that are all present in the alimentary canal of the human digestive system. Today is a session I'd like to focus on majorly the different kind of glands that are all associated with your digestive system and their role in the entire mechanism of digestion. Right now, the concept is the digestive glands that you can see here clearly. Right. When you see these digestive glands, some of the digestive glands are present in the wall of the alimentary canal. It is an important thing. Whereas some of the glands are present outside the alimentary canal but is linked with an alimentary canal with their respective ducts. Let us see the glands that are all present in the wall of the alimentary canal. See that they are present in the wall of alimentary canal. When you see certain kind of these glands, it includes one thing is the gastric glands. The gastric glands are located in the gaster. Gaster means nothing but your stomach. So here the point is these glands are present in the wall of your stomach is one important thing. Whereas the second type of glands present in the wall, it includes here Brunner's glands. The Brunner's glands are there, and these glands actually you can find out in your duodenum that we already studied. The duodenum is a C-shaped structure which is the beginning part of your small intestine. Whereas coming to the third type of glands that includes within that are crypts of lubricants. Crypts of lubricants. When we study about the anatomy of your small intestine, there I said here the small intestine, the inner mucosa is thrown into the different types of folds, and these folds are known as villi. In between the villi, there you can find out a depression or a pit-like structure which we call it as here lubricant, right? Or crypts they are all known as. And within that crypts, there you can see here the glands are present, and those glands are known as here crypts of lubricant, which you can find out in here small intestine, right? They are all present in small intestine. Since these two glands, see this one important point, these two glands, one is a Brunner's glands as well as crypts of lubricants, both of them are present in your intestine. Duodenum is also the beginning of your small intestine. That is the reason why these two glands are together known as intestinal glands. That is an important thing. Intestinal glands. So these three are present in the wall, whereas certain kind of glands are present which are present outside the alimentary canal but linked with the alimentary canal, right? Let us see such a kind of glands are known as associated glands. They are all associated with the alimentary canal of the human digestive system. When you see such a kind of here glands, it includes one is the salivary glands. Salivary glands is the first one. Whereas the second one is your liver, which is the biggest gland in your digestive system, almost all 1.5 kilograms in its weight. Whereas the third gland actually is the pancreatic gland or the pancreas. So this is what? The liver and pancreas. You know very well the pancreas is known as a mixed gland or a compound gland. It acts like a endocrine as well as exocrine gland also, right? So these are all the various types of glands that you can notice which are present in your digestive system. Let us study about each type of gland in a detailed way and its structure and the type of the cells and the secretions secreted by these glands and what are the kind of hormones and digestive enzymes present within these secretions. About all of them, let us see now here in a detailed way. And the first and foremost one I'd like to concentrate on this part, nothing but your salivary glands. Thereafter I do go for explaining rest of all. And the first important type of gland is your salivary glands. Salivary glands. I said these are present outside your alimentary canal. Particularly they are present outside the buccal cavity, and they do get open into your buccal cavity or oral cavity with a different kind of ducts. Right? When you see here, these glands are here 3 pairs in the human beings. There you can find out altogether 3 pairs of salivary glands are present. Clear? And these 3 pairs of salivary glands includes the first and foremost one is known as the parotid gland or the cheek gland. And coming to this parotid gland is the biggest gland in your here entire salivary glands. The location of this parotid gland is present underneath, that means below your ear pinna, as well as very near to your cheek surface. This is exact location of this one in your body. Clear? See this one. It is present near your pinna. Just beneath the pinna, below your pinna, you can see this one. And even it is here very close to the surface of your cheeks. One important thing. And the point here it is, these glands open into your oral or buccal cavity with the help of a duct, and the duct name is known as Stenson's duct. It is Stenson's duct, that you can see here clearly. Important point. The Stenson's duct is a duct through which the parotid glands or get opens into your oral or buccal cavity. Whereas the second type of gland, it includes submaxillary or submandibular glands. The second type of salivary glands, submaxillary or submandibular glands. These are all. These actually present at the angle of your lower jaw. You know, the lower jaw is one and only the movable bone in your head. So this joins with your upper jaw at a angle at this part. There you can see at an angle of the lower jaw, it is actually get locates. The point here it is get opens into your oral or buccal cavity with the help of a duct, and the name of the duct is Watson's duct. It is another important point. See that Watson's duct it is the name of the duct through which is a submandibular or submaxillary salivary glands open into your oral or buccal cavity. Whereas coming to the third type of glands are sublingual salivary glands. Lingua, it indicates your tongue. So it easily here you can guess that this is a gland which is present underneath your tongue in your oral or buccal cavity, that you can find out below the tongue. You can see these type of glands. See this. And the thing is here, all these are get opens into oral or buccal cavity through sublingual ducts or ducts of Rivinus is the name of a duct. Ducts of Rivinus is the name of the duct, or else that can be considered with another name also, sublingual ducts also. Sublingual ducts. Through all these respective ducts, these 3 different types of salivary glands are get open into your oral or buccal cavity. Clear? Right. I'd like to show all these are actually the 3 pairs of salivary glands in your here body or in your digestive system in a diagrammatic way. I hope you got it. So I can go back. Here you can happen to see your oral or buccal cavity, this part, oral or buccal cavity. Okay, actually here you can see your ear. Right. Now I'd like to here draw the parotid glands, which are the biggest glands in your salivary glands among all the salivary glands. As I said here, the location of this one, this is present below your ear pinna, right, and very close to your cheeks, right, cheek surface. This is actually the location of these glands. So these are parotid glands, salivary glands or parotid glands simply. The point is here, these glands open into here, this oral or buccal cavity through a duct. Just now I said that this duct is known as Stenson's duct. This is what? Right. As I said here, these glands are the biggest glands among the three pairs of the salivary glands. Whereas coming to the second type of glands or submandibular or the submaxillary salivary glands. I said this is actually your lower jaw. This is your lower jaw. You can see at this junction or the angle of this lower jaw, you can happen to see these type of ducts. See this. Right? These are the salivary glands and these are actually known as submandibular salivary glands. Right? And here the point is, even these glands also opens into the oral or the buccal cavity with the help of a duct. Clear? And this duct is actually known as here Watson's duct. Watson's duct it is. Clear? Right. There in the oral or the buccal cavity, you can happen to see a muscular flexible here. The structure, movable structure is present, which we call it as a tongue. Right, as I said just now here, there is a third pair of salivary gland which we call it as sublingual. I said sublingual, here it indicates it present just below the tongue. Here you can see the third type of salivary gland known as sublingual salivary gland. Right, so this sublingual salivary gland is located here. And these sublingual salivary glands opens into this oral or the buccal cavity which is present underneath the tongue, right? And these here ducts, as I said, are known as here ducts of Rivinus, or we can call them as here sublingual ducts. Sublingual ducts, or they are otherwise known as ducts of Rivinus, right? So these are the three pairs of salivary glands locates outside your oral or buccal cavity. See that finally opens into your oral cavity with the here various types of their ducts. Right, coming to the point is, these salivary glands are made up of the help of two different types of cells. One of the cell is known as serous cells. But the second type of cells that are present within that is mucus cells. Right? So these two are the important types of cells with the help of which the entire salivary gland is formed. And these actually involves in secretion of here saliva. This is what the saliva. So salivary glands naturally secretes a juice or secretion. We call it as the saliva. When you see here, these salivary glands, as I said, are present outside the buccal cavity and they do get open into here buccal cavity. And there, when you see here the composition of the saliva plays a very important role in the digestion process. When you see the components that are all present within the saliva, here it has got the various types of components. First of all, when you see the saliva, it is a bit acidic in its nature, little bit acidic in its nature. The reason for that is, it is having the pH of 6.8 is the pH value of this saliva. That is an important point. Based on the pH value, you can categorize the chemical substances into acidic, basic and neutral chemical substances, right? And if at all the pH value of the substance is 7, we can call such a material as the neutral substances. If it is below the 7, then we call it as here acidic. If it is beyond 7, then we do call them as the basic alkalic materials. So here point is the saliva pH is 6.8. So the value is just below the 7, so that it is slightly acidic in its nature. Clear? Right, the saliva has got the various types of enzymes also. Among them, lysozyme is one important type of enzyme. The very interesting thing is, as of now we know that the enzymes are actually involved in the digestion mechanism. But the saliva has got a certain kind of enzyme, see this point, very important bit, known as lysozyme. Interesting point related to that, this lysozyme never involves in the digestion mechanism. But what is its role? This lysozyme acts on the bacteria and it destroys them. Generally, the food that you are taking or the water that you consuming actually not 100% clean. The bacteria try to enter into your body through the food and water that you consume. So if at all the water and the food consists of the bacteria, when the saliva is get mixed up with that, within the saliva the lysozyme is present and which can act on the bacteria and it destroys them. That is the reason why the lysozyme is known as antibacterial enzyme. It's a very important thing. Antibacterial enzyme. But the point I am repeating again to you is the lysozyme is not a digestive enzyme. Clear? Right. And it produces even another important enzyme also, which we call it as here alpha salivary amylase or salivary amylase, or we call it as even the ptyalin also. See this alpha salivary amylase. In simple, we can consider it as salivary amylase also. The another name for that is ptyalin. Ptyalin. It's an important point. This ptyalin is actually a digestive enzyme. Here is the point. This ptyalin, it acts on carbohydrates. Carbohydrate is one of the important macrobiomolecule, must be break down into simple sugars. So for digestion of these carbohydrates, actually the salivary amylase or ptyalin, it helps. And finally break it down into dextrins and maltose sugar. Carbohydrates are get converted into dextrins and maltose sugar in your mouth, right? So by the action of this salivary amylase. Along with that, it has got even certain kind of electrolytes also. These electrolytes include sodium, chlorine, potassium and bicarbonates. These are all the 4 important type of here electrolytes that you can happen to see. Sodium, potassium, chlorine and bicarbonates are there. Along with that, the saliva consists of large amount of water. Along with that, you can see the mucus and certain kind of salts also present within that. And the saliva even consists of thiocyanate, a kind of ions also within that. Clear? So these are all some other components present you can see within the saliva, which has got the large amount of water. Along with that, the salts are present, and along with that, here the mucin is also present, one important thing, and the ions like thiocyanate, which is an ion, also present within that. So this is the total composition of your saliva. When you see the saliva, how much does it secretes in your mouth per day? And this is one more important thing. If you take here near about 1000 milliliters to 1500 milliliters of saliva will be get produced in a single day. Per day, this amount of saliva will be get released into your mouth. This is all about your salivary glands. Clear? So in our forthcoming classes, I will explain in detail about the gastric glands. Clear? Thank you all.